Hi everyone, we're going to talk about some tech that you can take with you on the plane that's really going to help you forget about the fact you're in a metal death trap 35,000 feet above the ground, travelling at 600 miles an hour. Let's get into it. I am an absolutely hateful human being on planes. Seriously, even if you're one of my closest family members or best friends, you are going to get absolutely blanked for the entire duration of the flight as I focus every ounce of my energy into clenching my buttocks as tightly as physically possible. Thankfully, I've got a lot better at coping with this over the years, and the tech tips I'm about to share with you are going to be absolutely brilliant for you, whether you're a nervous flyer or just someone who gets bored easily on long journeys. I like to cocoon myself away when I'm on a plane, so the first thing I'd recommend having with you on any plane journey is a really great quality pair of noise cancelling headphones. I wouldn't recommend earbuds necessarily. I find headphones give you that greater sense of isolation and help you just shut yourself away from every other human being on the plane. The headphones I use at the moment are the Sony WH-1000 XM4s, which is a bit of a mouthful. I've got them right here. There's actually a newer version of these now available, the XM5s, but that means you can pick up these XM4s for some great discounts. They're still one of the absolute best in class for noise cancelling, which makes them absolutely perfect for those long plane journeys. Also, the sound quality on these is fantastic. They've got a really lively sound signature with plenty of bass, which makes them really fun to listen to. They're really comfortable to wear for long periods, and that makes them perfect for someone with slightly oversized ears like me. And that noise cancellation has to be heard, or not heard, to be believed. They're fantastic for blocking out all of those weird noises the plane makes, especially during takeoff. You know, the ones that make you think that bits and pieces are falling off the plane. And they're also really great at blocking out that plane engine noise, so that if you close your eyes, you could genuinely pretend you're somewhere else. These are Bluetooth, but they also come with a 3.5mm headphone cable, so you can connect to the in-flight entertainment with them, as well as any other devices you have that don't use Bluetooth. So really, these are going to cover you for anything you want to watch or listen to. If you don't want to bother with cables, you could also use something like the Fly Pro by 12 South, which will allow you to hook these up via Bluetooth to that in-flight entertainment, as well as anything with a traditional headphone jack. If you've got a real quality pair of noise cancelling headphones, they're going to improve your experience of listening to music, of watching films, playing games. Whatever you might be doing is going to be enhanced by something like these. And even if you're not watching or listening to anything, seriously, just put these on, have the noise cancelling on, and it's just going to give you some peace and quiet throughout the flight and help you forget about where you are. The next tip I'm going to give you is to bring something with you that's going to let you play some games. Playing games is what I do probably to distract myself more than anything else when I'm flying. I think it's such a great distraction because it's not a passive activity like listening to music or watching a film. And what I use to play games on the plane, I think is the only obvious choice really, and that's the Nintendo Switch OLED. Something like this is going to be so much better than playing John in seat 34C at the built-in chess game on the in-flight entertainment, only to discover that John happens to be a chess grandmaster. And then when you leave the plane, you find out John was 6 years old. What I love about playing the Switch on the plane is that you can detach the Joy-Cons so that you don't get numb hands from holding something upright all the time. You can just kick back, hold these in each hand, have your arms on the armrest, and play comfortably. It also obviously means you can pass one to someone in the seat next to you if you're feeling calm enough to talk to them again and play multiplayer games. It's even better if you're traveling in a group with someone else who happens to have a Switch, because then you can fire up a multiplayer game of Mario Kart or Mario Party across the plane. And getting competitive is definitely a good distraction for me. And I think this is something where having a good quality pair of noise cancelling headphones really comes into its own, because you can make that game more immersive. The next tech distraction I do not get on a plane without is an e-reader. The great thing about having an e-reader on the plane with me is I can get started on my holiday reading if I like, but there's also so many great books for nervous flyers. And if you encounter a bit of turbulence and you just want to read a chapter to calm you down, you can do that. The e-reader I use is this. This is the Kindle Oasis. I find this to be brilliant on planes because I really struggle to sleep. One of the key features on this is that you can adjust the temperature of the backlight. So if you're flying through the night, you can warm up the temperature to give your eyes a rest and help you sleep. I don't really think an e-reader needs too much explaining. Everyone knows what they do, but having one of these in your bag instead of a load of physical books just frees up a load of space for some of the other tech we're talking about here. What's the most versatile piece of tech that I take on any flight with me? And probably most of you watching this have one of these, and that is my tablet. Seriously, your tablet can do it all. If you only take one thing on the plane along with your headphones, you probably should make it a tablet because there's so many different activities you can do on it. There's no need to ever get bored. I use this, which is the iPad Pro 11-inch. This is actually the 2018 model, so it's been through the ringer a little bit. Probably been covered in a lot of nervous flying sweat over the years, so it might need replacing soon. This is still one of the best tablets you can buy, even though it doesn't have an Apple chip in it. So it's great not just for watching movies, but also being productive, getting some work done. Anything I want to do, I can do it on here. The most obvious use for your tablet is to watch movies on it or episodes of your favourite TV programme, because let's face it, in-flight entertainment has gone so downhill. Seriously, does anyone actually even use it anymore? There was a time when the in-flight entertainment would have a lot of exclusive movie releases on it, but now we're in the age of streaming, that simply doesn't happen anymore. So I'd just recommend pre-downloading films and TV shows onto your tablet before you travel, and make sure you've got plenty of content on there. If you've got a 10-hour flight, make sure you're downloading at least 10 hours worth of content. You might not watch 10 hours worth of content on the flight, but knowing that you've got that much content on there is going to make you feel more comfortable that you're not going to get bored. I really like the feature on Netflix that automatically downloads films and TV shows for you in the background that it thinks you'll like based on what you've watched before. But your tablet is so versatile and you can do so many other things on it besides watching films and TV shows. One of the things I really love to do on flights is to open up GarageBand, which is a built-in Apple app that comes preloaded on your iPad, and it's for music making. And I will sit there composing admittedly quite terrible music that suits the destination I'm going to, so it makes me think of where I'm going. Part of your tablet setup, I'd also really recommend having a great keyboard case. I use this, which is the Logitech Combo Touch. This is one of the best keyboard cases you can buy. I would honestly rate this higher than Apple's own Magic Keyboard. Seriously, for the flexibility that it allows. You can detach the keyboard, for example, and then just pop out a stand at the back so you can just watch content on it, but also then just reattach the keyboard magnetically every time you want to do something productive. I find this is great for just getting those little bits and pieces of work done, or life admin that you didn't have time to do at home. When you've got time to kill on the plane, it's really useful having a keyboard case for your iPad, and it may mean that you don't need to pack a laptop and you've got more space for other stuff. Okay, my next tip is maybe a slightly controversial one, but hear me out. I'm going to recommend that you give in to corporate greed and line the pockets of the man by paying the extortionate prices for the in-flight Wi-Fi. I now do this every time I take a long-haul flight and there's Wi-Fi available. It just makes me feel more connected to the outside world. I can send a message to friends and family who are on the ground. It's really calming for me to be able to do that. There's plenty of other great benefits to using the in-flight Wi-Fi as well. If you run out of things to watch or listen to, it means you can stream additional content. It's also really great if you're into live sports, because that's not something you can pre-download before you get on the plane. So if your flight clashes with a really big live sporting event that you wanted to watch, definitely get on the Wi-Fi and watch it, because you're going to get really into that and immersed in it. I once watched the Champions League final on a flight from London to Vegas, and that was 2 hours that I really didn't think about the fact I was flying at all. Using the in-flight Wi-Fi also means if you really want to give in to that temptation to do a little bit of work, and this is probably particularly useful if you're on a business trip, you can read and respond to your emails and get things done that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And also it means you can watch your favourite YouTuber. My next tip is to listen to music. Actually, this should probably have come a bit higher in the list. It's quite an obvious one. Listening to music is a great way to kill time on the plane. It's also a chance to give your eyes a break from watching content. When I board a plane, I'm often most nervous before takeoff, and I wouldn't be able to necessarily concentrate on reading a book or watching a film right at the start. So the first thing I do is put my noise cancelling headphones on and put some music on. What I think is really helpful is to pre-download a playlist that's suitable for your destination, because thinking about it's going to help you imagine being there and be less in the present and thinking more about what you can look forward to at the end of the flight. I actually use Apple Music and Spotify. It's a bit of a weird situation because all my devices are Apple, but at home I have Sonos speakers which work with a certain smart assistant that doesn't necessarily play perfectly with Apple. Bit confusing. I have two separate music libraries. I probably wouldn't recommend that part, but it gives me access to even more music. Music's also a really great tool to help you sleep. You can have music on quietly in the background. You don't have to fully concentrate on it like a film or a book, and you can use that noise cancellation and some background music just to help you drift off to sleep if you find that difficult. Next, I would recommend that you use some kind of meditation app. This is something I've only started doing recently, but it's been an absolute game changer for me on flights. There's a few different meditation apps out there. The one I'd recommend using is the Calm app. There's loads of different categories in the Calm app. They've got breathing exercises, meditations to help you sleep, or even just calming music or sound effects. And this is great if you want to do some focused meditation or breathing to really calm those nerves and that anxiety, forget about where you are, or even if you just need something to help you sleep. Okay, we're getting close to the end now, and really all my other tips are going to be a little bit less useful unless you take this tip into account as well. My next tip is to have something to help you stay powered up. There's no point having 10 hours worth of entertainment if 4 hours in your battery dies. So take a high capacity power bank with you. What I use is something that's been featured on the channel already before. This is the Momax Airbox, and this is targeted at Apple devices because it has dedicated wireless charging pads for your phone, AirPods and Apple Watch, but it also has a USB-C output, which means I can charge my Nintendo Switch with it as well. But if you want to save some space, you can actually get carry-on size suitcases that have built-in power banks, and the one I use when I do this is the Carry On by Away. It pretty much complies with any airline's regulations for hand luggage size, and it has that power bank built in, so it doesn't take up any extra space. And last but not least, and this is probably my favourite little hack to help get you through those plane journeys, whether you're easily bored or just a nervous flyer, and that is to treat yourself to something new. This could be something like treating yourself to a new pair of noise cancelling headphones like the Sony XM4s that I showed earlier, but it doesn't have to be spending £300 on a shiny new pair of headphones. It could be something as simple as downloading a new album by your favourite artist and just holding off to listen to it till you get on the plane, or waiting to watch that new film that's been released that you've been desperate to watch, or a new game that you've been really excited to play. So when you're thinking about the upcoming flight, you're also thinking about how excited you are to test that new piece of tech, to play that new game, or to listen to that new music. If you get as excited as I do about new tech, you won't remember whether you're nervous or excited. So there we go, now you know what tech I take with me on the plane to avoid boredom and anxiety. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to hear more about any of the products I've featured here, let me know in the comments, and I'd love to know what tech you take with you on the plane to stop you from going insane. Thanks, and see you on the next one.